Master counterfeiter, brilliant craftsman, and daring con artist, Louis "the Coin" Colavecchio did what many thought was impossible, tricking the gaming industry out of millions of dollars with fake casino chips so perfect that even the most advanced machines couldn't detect them. It's the 1990s, and you're walking into a casino in Atlantic City or Las Vegas, your pockets full of chips you made yourself. Chips that look and feel just like the real ones, even under close inspection. Chips that fool both human cashiers and the latest electronic scanners. This was the world of Louis Colavecchio, a man who took counterfeiting to new heights. For almost 4 years, from 1993 to 1996, Colavecchio pulled off one of the most daring and sophisticated scams in the history of American casinos. His cleverness not only challenged the gaming industry, but also captured the public's imagination and earned the reluctant respect of the authorities who were after him. Though he died a few years ago, his story still lingers in the shadows of the casinos. This is the story of Louis "the Coin" Colavecchio. Born on January 1, 1942, Louis Colavecchio's early life shaped the course of his notorious future. His father had immigrated to the United States from Italy, eventually settling the family in Rhode Island. As the son of a skilled mechanic, he inherited from his father not only exceptional manual dexterity, but also a fascination with the inner workings of machines and mechanisms. From a young age, Louis displayed an innate talent for mechanics and jewelry making, skills that would later become the tools of his trade, illicit but a trade nonetheless. So Colavecchio's youth was spent in the Italian-American community of Rhode Island, where connections to organized crime were common. In 2015, he released a biography titled "You Thought It Was More," where he bragged about his criminal life and ties to the mafia. He also talked about starting his criminal education at a young age, mentored by mafia figures like Vincent Miele and Raymond Petrarca. However, Louis initially seemed headed for a normal life. Graduated from Providence College in 1964 with a degree in business administration, and for years he worked in legitimate jobs. He was a master mechanic, jeweler, and imported car salesman, earning a reputation as a skilled craftsman and smart businessman. But fate had other plans for retired Louis Colavecchio. Even before his big forgery operation, the man had already been involved in serious crimes, such as stealing from an elderly family member and growing marijuana. But the turning point in his life came in 1993 during a casual visit to the Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut. It was there, amid the hustle and bustle of slot machines and gaming tables, that a simple $10 chip caught his attention in a way that would change his life forever. For most casino visitors, a chip is just a piece of metal, a symbol of value in the game. But for Colavecchio, with his jeweler's eye and mechanic's curiosity, that chip was an irresistible challenge. He held it in his hands, feeling its weight, examining every detail of its design. In that moment, a daring idea began to form in his mind. What if he could create a perfect copy of that chip? If it's made by man, it can be copied exactly, Colavecchio used to say, quoting a lesson he learned from his father. With this philosophy in mind, he set out to create his criminal masterpiece, counterfeit casino chips so perfect that even the slot machines couldn't tell the difference. But as you might think, making these fake chips was no easy task. Colavecchio knew he was up against some of the most advanced security systems in the world. Casinos, with millions of dollars at stake every day, had invested huge amounts in technology to prevent exactly the kind of fraud he was planning. What did he do next? Well, what anyone with a crazy dream would do. He invested over $100,000 of his savings in specialized equipment. He acquired a 320-ton industrial press capable of minting coins with the same precision as the U.S. Mint. He also bought an electrical discharge machine, EDM, a high-tech device used in precision manufacturing. But the equipment was just the beginning. Colavecchio spent months researching the exact composition of the original chips. He even sent a genuine chip to a metallurgy lab for analysis, disguising it as a piece of jewelry to avoid suspicion. But you know what was really incredible about all this? Colavecchio's attention to detail. He meticulously studied and copied every aspect of the original chips, from their metal makeup to the smallest security features. He found out that the chips were made of a special alloy called HS2, a mix of copper, zinc, and nickel silver. This unique blend not only gave the chips their exact weight, but was crucial for fooling the advanced advanced electronic detectors in casinos. By February 1994, after 6 months of hard work, Colavecchio made his first fake chip. It was a copy of a $10 chip from Foxwoods that looked perfect at a first glance. But the real test was yet to come. Could this creation trick the sophisticated slot machines in the casinos? The first trial was at Foxwoods, and it ended in failure. Colavecchio's chips were rejected by the machines, leaving him disheartened but not defeated. "I never give up," he would later say. "If I have a goal in mind, there's nothing that can stop me from achieving it." With renewed determination, he returned to his workshop to further perfect his technique. After more adjustments and testing, Colavecchio finally succeeded. His counterfeit chips not only fooled the slot machines, but also went unnoticed by human cashiers. With this achievement, the Coin was ready to launch his bold plan to scam casinos across the country. But this wasn't just any scam. Colavecchio's operation was, above all, two things: sophisticated and cunning. Instead of targeting just one casino, he decided to distribute his fake chips across multiple establishments. His strategy was simple: visit various casinos, play enough to avoid suspicion, and then cash out his winnings. "My style was to take a couple of $100,000 from each casino," he would later explain. This way, he avoided raising suspicions and made much more money than you could imagine. Over the next 4 years, Colavecchio and his girlfriend Julie traveled across the country, from Atlantic City to Las Vegas, using their fake chips in dozens of casinos. The operation was so successful that Colavecchio could earn up to $12,000 per hour, all without raising alarms. His ability to make chips for different casinos and in various amounts made his scheme almost impossible to detect. Was his success purely due to his technical skills? Not entirely. He was also a master of social deception. He knew that to succeed, he had to blend in with regular casino players. He played enough to establish a presence, talked with other players and casino staff, and never exchanged amounts that might seem suspicious. As his operation grew, Colavecchio had to expand his team. He recruited Al, a retired toolmaker, impressed by Colavecchio's skill and boldness, who agreed to join in exchange for a share of the profits. Colavecchio's operation was massive. At its peak, he was making fake chips for 36 different casinos in $10, $25, and $100 denominations. Each new casino brought a fresh challenge of replicating their unique chip designs and metallic compositions. But as he admitted in his autobiography, overcoming these technical hurdles was more exhilarating to him than the immense profits. However, as often happens, Colavecchio's empire eventually started to unravel. It began in 1996 when an employee at Caesar's Palace in Atlantic City noticed a discrepancy in their inventory of $10 chips. This seemingly small discovery triggered an investigation that would eventually lead to the Coin's capture. Detective Jim Flammer from the New Jersey State Police was put on the case. Flammer, a seasoned investigator, quickly realized he was dealing with something unusual. The suspicious chips were so well made that even casino experts struggled to tell them apart from real ones. Flammer's investigation took him on a hunt through Atlantic City's casinos. Meanwhile, Colavecchio continued his operation unaware of being watched. At one point, Flammer nearly lost track of him in the busy gaming area of Caesars, only to spot him casually standing at the cashier. Finally, on December 6, 1996, Colavecchio was arrested at Caesars Atlantic City. Police found nearly 800 pounds of fake chips, a gun, and cash in his car. The full extent of his operation came to light. He had produced counterfeit chips for 36 different casinos with estimated profits in the millions of dollars. Colavecchio's arrest rocked the gambling industry. Casinos, known for their robust security measures, had to confront the fact that they had been duped for years by one man who had mastered the art of flawlessly counterfeiting their chips. What made the situation more serious was the high quality of the counterfeits. So good that even after his arrest, investigators struggled to differentiate them from the real ones. But now, the capture of Louis the Coin Colavecchio marked the end of one of the most sophisticated counterfeiting operations in the history of gambling. Police seized 123 dies and thousands of pounds of metal ready to be turned into fake chips at his workshop. He faced charges of trademark violations and interstate trafficking of counterfeit goods. To avoid a lengthy prison sentence, his partner Al testified against him, sealing his fate. The Colavecchio Colovecchio case had a lasting impact on the gambling industry. Casinos swiftly upgraded their detection devices and tightened inventory controls. Colovecchio's feat demonstrated that even seemingly impenetrable systems could be vulnerable to the cunning and skill of a talented counterfeiter. Despite his downfall, Louis the Coin Colovecchio maintained a sense of pride in his achievements. "I probably pulled off the biggest casino chip counterfeiting operation in gambling history," he reflected in a later interview. After serving his sentence, Colovecchio tried to live a quieter life, but his reputation as the Coin would follow him for the rest of his days. He became a legendary figure in the gambling world, respected for his skill even by those who had tried to catch him. In his later years, Colovecchio often thought about his life and choices. "I pushed our investigative abilities to the limit," he admitted. "They'll probably never have another case like this." And it's probably true. Colovecchio's life after his first sentence was filled with ups and downs. Despite trying to stay away from illegal activities, the temptation of counterfeiting proved too strong. Colovecchio couldn't resist returning to his former profession. In 2019, at the age of 77, he was sentenced again, this time to 15 months in prison for making thousands of fake $100 bills. Even in his old age, Colovecchio hadn't lost his touch. But his later years were troubled by health problems. He suffered from dementia, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and hypertension. As a result, in his final days, Colovecchio was released from prison due to his declining health. He returned to Rhode Island, spending his last moments at his daughter's home in Cranston. Louis the Coin Colovecchio passed away on July 6, 2020, at the age of 78. His death marked the end of an era in counterfeiting and gambling. Do you think he ever regretted it? No. He felt no remorse for a lifetime of criminal activity, saying, "Do I feel guilty for what I did was wrong? No, I don't." For better or worse, the Coin made history, and this is one of those stories that make law enforcement and casinos cringe. Did you enjoy learning about Colovecchio's journey? Then subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.